What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Thursday, May 9th, 2024, and I have some breaking news to share with you guys. Right now, it is just past midnight here in Pennsylvania, and we have some major breaking news coming in from Russia and Ukraine and also from the Middle East. But before I get into all those headlines, I want to show you what's going on here at home. We have more tornado outbreaks tonight in Dixie Alley. So we have some tornado warnings right now in northern Alabama and northern Georgia. We have this huge area of tornado watches posted for much of Tennessee, western Kentucky, southern Illinois, southeastern Missouri, northern Arkansas, northern Alabama, northern Georgia. So I want to just show you guys what's going on over here. So we have this massive line of storms here, lots of flash flood warnings and flash flood watches posted for pretty much all of Kentucky and eastern Tennessee. And we have flash flood warnings right now in central Tennessee around Murfreesboro. And here in northern Alabama, we have some tornado cells near Huntsville. See these two storms right here. So if you live in these areas, be on high alert for some possible tornadoes overnight tonight. We also have some strong solar flares that have occurred in the past 24 hours, and they're causing a significant interruption in high frequency radio transmissions. And we do have a very active sunspot that is Earth facing right now. Sunspot 3663 could produce more X class solar flares. So we need to be on high alert the next few days. So I want to just get into some of the latest headlines coming out of Eastern Europe and the Middle East. So today, actually yesterday, Wednesday, there was an emergency alert system test nationwide in Canada. Now, what's weird is on Tuesday morning, very early Tuesday morning at around 7:20 Eastern time, I got an emergency alert system test on my phone here in Pennsylvania. And of all the years living here in Pennsylvania, I'm almost at 3 years here in PA. I've never gotten an emergency alert system test on my phone in the past 3 years. The only time I get emergency alerts is for tornadoes and snow squalls. I never get any tests on my phone. So this is very concerning. Looks like something big could be going down soon. So they're testing the emergency alert systems. What you're looking at here is a picture of some A-10 Warthogs escorting one of our Ohio-class submarines out of Bangor-Kitsap submarine base in the Puget Sound in Washington State. It's heading out to the Pacific. The Ohio-class subs are part of our nuclear triad. They each carry 20 Trident missiles, which can carry up to 10 warheads each, nuclear warheads with blast yields of up to half a megaton each warhead. So massive amount of firepower on just one of these submarines, and we have 14 of them. Now, if this thing is heading out to the Pacific, it could mean that our nuclear forces are in a higher level of readiness. Normally, they keep about half of our subs in port and half of them out at sea. The reason why they keep half in port is that half of those subs are in some stage of maintenance or replenishment of supplies, and then the other half are on combat duty. But if they're sending one out now and it's actually getting escorted by A-10 Warthogs, that's a pretty serious sign. Okay, they're escorting this thing out into the Pacific. Now, earlier today, or actually yesterday, Wednesday, we had 3 nuclear war command and control planes up in the air, and those planes are responsible for communicating with these submarines, okay? And this update was sponsored by My Patriot Supply. Guys, My Patriot Supply is doing a discount on their 1 month emergency food supply. And to get the deal, you got to go to preparewithnyprepper.com, and the link is in the description below this video. This is a 1 month freeze dried food supply. It has a 25-year shelf life. Normal price is $237. They've dropped it down to $177. So that's a savings of $60. And it's all packed within 2 rugged, water resistant buckets. Free shipping is included. $177 for 1 month of food. Where are you going to find a deal like that? They also have a general store, and they're always running discounts in their general store on various prepping and survival items. They have everything from MREs, potassium iodide, to survival seeds. And to get to their general store, you got to click on the My Patriot Supply logo at the top of the page when you get to preparewithnyprepper.com. And you'll see when you get there, they have everything you can imagine. So use the link preparewithnyprepper.com to get $60 off the My Patriot Supply 1 month emergency food supply. That's $180 for 1 month of food, free shipping included. The link is in the description below this video. And also check out their general store. They have everything you can imagine prepping and survival related, and they're always running various discounts there. So something big could be going down soon. We also had a massive amount of U.S. Air Force military cargo planes go to Estonia. What you're looking at here are the flight paths of 3 C-17 Globemasters that flew from Skopje, Macedonia to Tallinn, Estonia. And these C-17s are heavy airlift planes. They can carry a lot of military equipment like infantry fighting vehicles, tanks, ammunition, whatever. 3 of them going up to Estonia. This is very, very concerning, and it's another sign that NATO is preparing for war in the Baltics with Russia. I do believe that Russia and Belarus are going to attack the Baltics this summer. They're going to catch the world by surprise. They're going to catch NATO with their pants down. They want to attack the Baltics now before NATO has an opportunity to arm the Baltics and move forces there. Okay? They're not going to attack the Baltics in 3 years like everybody thinks. They're going to do it now. Putin needs a land bridge to Kaliningrad. Now, this is also going to open up another front for NATO, and NATO's going to have to worry about that rather than just only focusing on Ukraine. And that would allow the Russian forces to go into Ukraine and take huge swaths of territory away from Ukraine. I do think that Russia is going to try to take the entire eastern half of Ukraine all the way to the Dnieper River. And it could happen this summer. And NATO is going to panic if that happens because they've invested so much in helping Ukraine. And for Russia to then go and take even more territory would be an absolute massive failure by NATO. And NATO has nobody to blame but themselves, because they had an opportunity 2 years ago when the war first started to give Ukraine the weapons they need to win, not to drag the war out years and years. Okay, we heard the NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg saying that the war could drag on for years. He said it himself. If NATO buckled down when this war first started, went into wartime production, produced 10 million artillery shells, and gave everything Ukraine needed in the beginning of the war, we would not still be fighting this war. Okay, Ukraine would have pushed the Russians out, and they would have enough equipment and ammunition to hold the front lines after pushing the Russians out. But now we have a bad situation because NATO was so afraid of Russia using nuclear weapons, and they were afraid of pissing Putin off and not giving Ukraine what they need. They've just been kind of trickling the weapons at a very slow rate, giving them the bare minimum that they need, either because they're incompetent or because they're purposely trying to drag this war out to strategically weaken Russia at the expense of Ukraine. With Ukrainian blood, they're doing this. And what you're looking at here are the flight paths of two U.S. aerial refuelers that were operating deep in the Atlantic Ocean here, about 300 miles off the coast of New Jersey near the Hudson Canyon, just off the continental shelf. So I don't know what they were refueling out here, but there were two KC-46 Pegasus planes out there. And these Pegasus planes are usually used to refuel our bombers. So I don't know if we had B-2s or B-1s operating out here. We also had a P-8 Poseidon sub-hunter plane active off the coast of Virginia Beach and near the mouth of the Chesapeake, keeping an eye on possible Russian subs, including mini reconnaissance subs. Okay, this is where we have one of our most important naval bases, Norfolk Naval Base, where we have half of our aircraft carriers. So something's going on tonight, guys, to have this activity so late at night. And we also had this KC-135 aerial refueler that was operating off the coast of St. Petersburg, Florida. Okay, so our military is on high alert, guys. We had another Russian military plane go to Kaliningrad this evening. This is a 223rd Flight Unit plane that went to Kaliningrad from St. Petersburg. Now, this plane is responsible for transporting VIPs. And earlier today, we had a Russian Tupolev 154M, which is a heavy cargo plane, go to Kaliningrad as well. And we also had this U.S. Navy P-8 Poseidon sub-hunter that was doing dozens and dozens of loops here right off the coast of Kaliningrad and Poland. This is very, very serious, guys, to have this U.S. sub-hunter doing this many loops this early in the night off the coast of Kaliningrad. Here's a closer look. You can see all those loops there. Absolutely crazy, guys. Check that out. And we also have a U.S. Air Force combat scent plane patrolling the Yellow Sea between the Korean Peninsula and China. This same plane flew down to the South China Sea, and it flew along the coast of China near Hong Kong and around the Hainan Peninsula, which is where China has one of their sub bases. And now it's in the Yellow Sea. But what's interesting is it is flying parallel to the Chinese shoreline and near this peninsula here, Shandong. Okay, and so what this plane does is it captures radar emissions and radio signals. And this is a high priority reconnaissance plane. The U.S. Air Force only has two of them, and they operate out of Offutt Air Base, which is home of U.S. Strategic Command. They're part of the 55th Wing. So this is a strategic asset. Okay, this is a strategic asset that is feeding intelligence information directly to the president and our top generals, and it's collecting radar emissions and radio signals right here in China, guys, near this peninsula here, right across from Korea. Okay, so this is very, very concerning. We also have a U.S. Air Force reconnaissance plane patrolling the North Korea-South Korea border here tonight as well. So something's brewing with China, guys. If they're flying these planes, basically the last two nights along the Chinese coastline, they're trying to see what kind of Chinese military activity is going on here, potentially to see if there's any indications of preparation for an attack on Taiwan or Japan, etc. China has a lot of coastal missile batteries here in this area. They have lots and lots of missiles that could reach Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, and the Philippines along this coastline here. Okay. Apparently, Russia is going to retaliate for the expulsion of a Russian military attaché from the UK. The UK said earlier today that they're going to expel the Russian military attaché because he's an employee of the Russian military intelligence service, We will remove diplomatic status from a number of Russian-owned properties in the UK, including Secaucus House in Sussex, as well as the trade mission and the military attaché's office in Highgate in London, which we believe have been used for intelligence. Wow. So the UK is accusing Russia of basically sending spies to the UK in the form of diplomats, okay, a military attaché. These are diplomats, but they're actually spies, okay? And the Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman, Maria Zakharova, said this evening that Russia will respond appropriately to this expulsion. Now, the last couple of days, we've had probably half a dozen ambassadors leave Russia, Western ambassadors, Czech Republic, Germany, the US, the UK, etc. They all left from Moscow. So I don't know what's going to happen, but very concerning that all these ambassadors left, and now the UK is expelling this Russian military attaché. And the Ukrainian state energy company, Ukrenergo, has confirmed that there were strikes on several thermal power plants and hydroelectric power plants across Ukraine last night. Apparently, there were strikes in Lviv, Vinnytsia, Poltava, Kirovgrad, Zaporizhia, and Ivano-Frankivsk on these power plants. So, looks like Russia is continuing to attack Ukraine's energy infrastructure. And Hungary's foreign minister opposes NATO's long-term Ukraine aid plan, calling it a crazy mission. Hungary will stay out of NATO's crazy mission despite all the pressure, Peter Sajardo said at an event in London, reiterating the Hungarian government's position. Nearly 700 civilians remain in the completely destroyed town of Chasiv Yar in eastern Ukraine, and they do not want to evacuate. We have this article here coming out of Russia Today claiming that Ukraine targeted various Russian cities with drones on Victory Day. Today is actually Victory Day already in Russia. They're saying that the regions of Belgorod, Bryansk, and Krasnodar all came under attacks by Ukrainian drones, and Russian air defense systems intercepted several of these drones. So, pretty interesting. And I want to just show you guys the latest situation in Ukraine on the front lines. So we have this breakthrough going on over here by Russian forces just northwest of Avdiivka. You can see they've punched out here. Okay, they took Avdiivka a few weeks back, and they've punched out, and they're pushing out. Okay, so this is very, very concerning because Ukraine doesn't have any defenses here. Okay, they don't have multiple lines of defense. They may have just one line, and these are still defensive forces. Okay, Russia still has not committed their offensive forces yet. They're going to be doing that soon, probably in the next couple of weeks. And what they're going to do is probably pile up a bunch of troops right here, and they're going to try to exploit this area and push further west, potentially to reach this central eastern area of Ukraine, potentially to go up towards Slovyansk. But I am very concerned that Russia could come down from the Sumy region. We know that Russia has piled up at least 50,000 troops on the border of Sumy. And what I think is going to happen is they're going to try to break through here in Sumy. They're going to bypass Kharkiv, and they're just going to go straight down south to Poltava, and they're going to try to reach the Dnieper River. They're just going to push straight south. Okay, Ukraine doesn't have any fortifications here at all. All they would have to do is just push south here, and then if they push north from Zaporizhia, they could meet those forces somewhere around Dnipropetrovsk. And then if they break through over here near Donetsk, which is what they're doing now, then they can link up with those forces. These forces could go west. So I am very, very concerned that Russia could potentially take all of eastern Ukraine in this coming offensive. And U.S. President Biden said in an interview earlier today with CNN that if Israel decides to launch a ground invasion of Rafah in the southern Gaza Strip, then he is prepared to totally halt the sale of offensive weaponry to Israel, including tanks and artillery shells, precision guided bombs, as well as other U.S. provided weapons that Biden claims have been used by Israel to kill the civilians in Gaza. Biden further stated that despite this, the United States is not walking away from Israel's security, just the ability for Israel to wage war on certain areas of Gaza. Biden said, "We will not supply Israel with weapons and artillery shells if it operates widely in Rafah. The bombs that the U.S. supplied to Israel were used to kill civilians," Biden said. "I have made it clear to Bibi and the War Cabinet they're not going to get our support if, in fact, they go on these population centers." And this is the first time that the U.S. has ever withheld U.S. military aid to Israel. And U.S. House Speaker Mike Johnson and Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell sent a letter to Biden expressing that they are alarmed by reports that the Biden administration had delayed the delivery of a variety of weapons shipments to Israel. And what you're looking at here is some footage coming out of southern Lebanon showing massive Israeli airstrikes in southern Lebanon earlier today or yesterday. Check that out, guys. Here's another picture of more Israeli airstrikes. So the situation is escalating in Lebanon between Hezbollah and Israel. And Syrian state media is reporting that Israeli airstrikes earlier this evening hit the capital, Damascus, resulting in the destruction of several facilities belonging to Iranian proxies. So Israel striking Damascus again. And we know that the Bible says in the book of Isaiah that Damascus will become a ruinous heap. Okay, so we're approaching that, guys. We're approaching Israel lashing out and just completely flattening Damascus and a lot of these cities in the Middle East. But that's the latest breaking news that I have. I will be back later on today or tomorrow with more breaking news. So make sure you're subscribed. Hit the bell icon down below so you get notified when I post these updates. But just get prepared, guys. In the next couple of weeks, I think things are really going to escalate in Ukraine and also in the Middle East when Israel goes into Rafah. We have to be on high alert for domestic terrorism here at home. So make sure you're carrying your self-defense tools if it's legal for you to do so where you live. And until next time, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps. Prepare, practice, and persevere. Culinary out. Attention hand loaders, check out Cutting Edge Bullets for some of the best bullets in the industry. They also sell loaded ammo now, and I'm partnering with them to give you a 20% discount. And to get the discount, all you got to do is use the promo code NYPrepper to get 20% off your entire order. And Cutting Edge Bullets makes the best bullets for bear defense and for big bore rifles, big bore handguns. They also make some really, really good bullets for long range enthusiasts, very high BC bullets that are turned on a lathe. So check them out, cuttingedgebullets.com. Use the promo code NYPrepper to get 20% off. I've done a lot of testing with their big bore bear defense bullets and solids, and I can tell you that they have the best solids in the business. So I'm going to leave a link to their website and the promo code in the description below this video, but it's cuttingedgebullets.com, promo code NYPrepper to get 20% off of your entire order, and check out some of their new loaded ammo if you're not a hand loader.